What's going on, guys? It's CJ, and we are back to talk about another episode of Love After Lockup. And today we're going to talk about season 3, episode 16, titled Highway to Hell. Now, before we get started, do not forget to like this video. Also, don't forget to comment. Y'all know I love comments. And go ahead and subscribe to my channel. So now that we got all that out the way, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, this video starts with Heather. We see Heather washing that ass. She's getting ready because she has to take Dylan to get an ID. And he's worried because it's taking her a long time to get ready and she's just taking forever. So Dylan is worried because he knows that after a certain time, I guess they have like a cutoff or something to where he won't be able to get it that day. So he also tells us that, it's already a nightmare. He's only been out one day and it has already been a complete nightmare already, as we have seen. And she tells us in her confessional that Dylan is not the best at sex. I don't know what she was expecting, but apparently he didn't necessarily live up to her expectations. He, on the other hand, described it as crazy, and if crazy means good, then yes, that it was good. But they obviously have opposing views on their romp in the sack. But anyway, she finally gets ready. They go to the DMV or the license place, and they're turned away because they're late and they're not accepting any more applicants or IDs or tests for the rest of the day for driver's license. So he is upset and he makes he says it jokingly to production, we're late because of makeup, and Heather goes completely off. She is so mad, and production is even scared. She has them shook, and they're kind of like, okay, well, it's okay. Let's try to stay positive. They're afraid because they have already experienced how explosive or volatile her nature seems to be. So they don't want any parts of that. So they're trying to smooth things over. She's pissed off. She's ready to go. She's telling Dylan, get in the car. I mean, she is screaming, where are my keys? Acting a complete ass. She is just out there showing out. So he's trying to, get in the car because he's afraid, and production is trying to save him, but he's like, no, I gotta go, so he's afraid. Part of the reason is that he lives with her and Aunt Diane, which I am so afraid for Dylan's life and Aunt Diane's life, because Heather seems like she just loses touch with reality when she gets angry, and the smallest thing sets her off. So they're both saying how the other person isn't like they were, when he was locked up, or has definitely flipped the switch. So they both feel like the other person has changed in one day, but it is what it is. She is screaming and she's in the car. She's snatching the mics off. She's telling him to take his mic off, speeding down the street the wrong way, snatching cameras out of the car. Absolutely crazy. And that's where their segment ends. So we need to say a prayer for Dylan that he makes it through his ordeal with Heather, because Heather is going to get that man killed or locked back the hell up. But anyway, we go on to Quaylon and Chevelle. Quaylon is getting ready. He is packing his clothes to go to Texas. And Chevelle is just standing in the door in this stalking kind of manner, just watching him. And she is telling him that she does not want him to go because she feels like he's not going to come back. Now, he tells her that he has to do this. He told his parents or his mom, his family, that he was going to come down there and see them. And he is a man of his word, and he's going to keep his word. And she feels like he's gone back on his word about wanting to be with her and her daughter, because when he was incarcerated, he would tell her that they're going to get married, they're going to be together. And Chevelle seems like she formed this life. She had an idea of this life in her head. And he might have, and I'm sure he was telling her these things. And now that he is out, he sees that there is just so much more out there. And now, he wants to explore that. And she is not necessarily okay with that. But I mean, what can you really do? So she tells him, that she feels like maybe her family was right. Maybe he was just using her. And now that he's out, he wants to go and be free. But he didn't take the truck. He left the truck there, which probably makes her think even more that, yeah, he ain't coming back. He done left the truck here. He's cutting ties with me. He's going to be gone. But he gets to Texas. He's excited to be in Texas. He's excited to see his family. He meets his mom at the sidewalk and she runs up. She's just so happy to see her baby boy. And they go inside of the house and she's basically telling him that, he needs to get there. They can do whatever he wants to do. He needs to go out. He needs to date. He needs to find women. And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. Mom is like, yeah, there are a bunch of opportunities here in Houston and you need to explore every opportunity that's out there. There are options here. You need to explore all of your options. And that's basically code for you need to stop messing with Chevelle and you need to come home to your family. But he tells them that, things were kind of moving way too fast in Kansas City. And he, just kind of needs to take a breather. And we then meet his baby sister, who is also a part of the Q clique. Her name is Quaylon. I believe that was her name. That's baby sister. I think she's like 18 or I think she's 18. Yeah, she's 18. She was really young when Quaylon went away. And she's happy to see him as well. And she's telling him about some spots that are there in Houston, some bars that she can take him to. I'm like, is she 21? Maybe I missed that. Drop down in the comments and let me know because I thought she was 18. But anyway, she tells him that she's got some friends that she wants him to meet that she can hook him up with. So basically, his whole family is on this tip. And I believe that they feel like if they get Quaylon a woman, he is not gonna want to leave, so he won't go back to Chevelle, which I don't know how Chevelle is all that bad. He sold Chevelle a dream, or she just read too far into something, but she just thought that they were gonna be together. And something tells me that he was telling her all the words that she wanted to hear when he was behind bars. But it's just a different story now that he's out. But it is what it is. So mom later on takes him to a barbershop because we kind of got another glimpse of when he was getting his dreads done before his party. And the loctician was asking him, who did your hair while you were locked up? And he told her that he did it himself. And so she was very impressed with that. And like he said, you kind of did what you had to do in prison. So he would cut hair and whatever. So I'm thinking that he wants to probably become a barber or start his own business. But mom takes him to meet one of her friends who owns a barbershop. And she is really trying to get him set up. Like, she is trying to get it to where he does not have a reason to go back to Chevelle. She wants him to get a job. She wants him to get a girl. Like, everything that the comfort that he had in Kansas City, Chevelle was taking care of him, so he didn't need a job. And she was his woman, so he didn't need a girl. But they're trying to really set him up. And he keeps telling his mom that he's committed to Chevelle. And mama is not trying to hear that. And I just think that's so disrespectful. And she's like, I'm the mama. I'm gonna, basically he's gonna do what I say. But mom forgets, okay, he was 17 before he was incarcerated. That man is 29 now. He is almost 30 years old. You can't treat him like a child. But I guess she told us she the mama and what she says goes. Now, we then go back to Vegas where we get Maurice and Jessica. Maurice has been out 5 weeks now. And they show them driving in the car and he is just being typical Maurice, extra and loud, hanging out of the car. And they're on their way to a chapel, a wedding chapel. And he basically is wanting to plan a wedding because, like they told us, they didn't have a real wedding. It was one of those deals where they came in, signed some papers, and boom, they were married because he was behind bars. Well, now he wants to do it the right way. He wants to take her. He wants to have the wedding that they both deserve. He wants his family to be there. He wants her family to be there. So they go to this really cute little chapel. And long story short, he gets her in front of this cute little waterfall. He proposes to her again, shows her this ring. And that ring didn't look like it cost $1,000. I don't know. But it didn't look like it cost $1,000 to me. I think that Maurice probably did try and go flip a little bit of that money, like you said last week. But he proposed to her. It was a cute enough little ring. It was a little bop. And she said yes. So he picked her up. And I didn't realize he's pretty tall. So that was a long way to pick Jessica up. And Jessica got a little size on her. But that was cute. Now, we then go to Destiny and Shawn. They're coming out of the courthouse. Her case was dismissed. However, she's facing 7 years because they refiled some charges on her. So now she is upset and Shawn's trying to stay optimistic, but she feels like it's all over. She feels like, okay, I'm going to definitely do this time. It has caught up with me. You know, it is what it is. I'm going to have to serve this time. And he's telling her that, you know, he's going to stay around. She's saying, you know, I don't expect you to stay 7 years, you know, faithful to me, stick around for 7 years when I'm incarcerated. And he's like, well, why wouldn't I? And so he's giving her this song and dance about how he'll stick around and how they're in this together. And so her mom and her sister are really, really touched by his words. They're kind of singing a different tune than what they did originally when they met him. When they first met him, you know, he wasn't shit. They didn't trust him. But now all of a sudden, you know, oh, I want to hug you. I feel like I want to hug you. It's so sweet. They're crying and moved to tears by his words. But just a few days or weeks ago, whatever it was, y'all didn't trust the man. But she just kind of tells him, you know, I need you and my family to kind of just give me some space right now. I just, you know, it's a lot to take on, the news I just got. And they go to a river. They're getting ready to leave. He wants to go to a river. And she's not really trying to do any of this lovey-dovey shit. I mean, he's like got his hand on her knee. They're in the car. He's telling her everything's going to be all right. She's on her phone, texting or whatever she's doing, not even paying attention. And she is so not into Shawn, but hey, she got a dummy on her hands who don't really care one way or the other. So they get to this little river. They're walking along. He's pouring his heart out to her, telling her how much he loves her and how he's going to stick by her no matter what. And then he drops down on his knee. And you could tell because they kept panning on his pocket. He had his hand in his pocket. And he is going to propose to Destiny. So she's kind of like, what? Are you serious? But whatever. So then we go on to Christiana and John. Now, he brings Christiana home. It's now morning. It was night when he went and got her. And she's in the bathroom getting ready. And she's upset and breaking down because she knows that she has gotten herself into some crap. And now, you know, she is going to have to go back to jail and her family is going to have to be without her and she's going to have to be without them for however long she's going away. So she's in the bathroom crying. She asks for her sister to come in and she just kind of breaks down and apologizes and she just, you know, is sorry and she's beating herself up for relapsing. Now, John is now starting to worry a little bit because he knows that he is a felon as well. And if they execute this warrant and they come and find her at his house, he, the sister, the mom, everybody, you know, can get in trouble for harboring a fugitive. So he's worried, they're worried, but at the same time, they're really, really sad because they know, okay, Christiana was out. She was here with us, but due to her, you know, relapsing, we know that she is going to have to go back. We can't afford for her to go on the run and drag everybody down with her. She's going to have to go back. But John is upset at this point now because mom is crying. Sister is crying. The mom is so sad. And it was a touching enough scene. But at the same time, they're not new, you know, they're not surprised. This isn't new to them. They're used to Christiana doing these things. And you could kind of tell because mom sounded like she was crying, but I didn't really see any tears coming out of her eyes. But hey, but now they're gonna eventually have to turn her in. But I guess we'll see that further along in the season. And then, y'all, we got Tyrese. I thought Tyrese was done after last week, after Shonda basically told him that, you know, she ghosted him. She was sorry for ghosting him, but she needed to do what was best for her. Blase, blase. He's got a new woman now. Her name is Tracy. And like Shonda, Tracy is also an ex-convict. We find that out because she feels like they haven't heard the end of Shonda. She feels like Shonda is going to call back because she's going to want money from Tyrese. And Tyrese is like, nah, that chapter is done. We're done. And he says he met Tracy at an art gallery. An art gallery. Yeah. And she was standing there alone and she was looking all good or whatever. And like Shonda, Tracy also has a big old ass. Because we know Tyrese likes those big old asses. But unlike Shonda, he has also had a chance to hit the skins. And he was making these really, really uncomfortable sexual references at the dinner table where he and Tracy were. It was cringy. I was freaked out, but they seem to really like each other. And I got a feeling now that Shonda is going to try and come and bust this party up, but we'll get more of them in the end. And that was pretty much the episode. If there was anything that I left out, make sure to drop it down in the comments. Let's talk about it. This was a good episode. This season is really good. I'm liking these new people much, much more than I liked the other people that they tried to introduce to us. But outside of the OGs are the best. But like I said, don't forget to like this video, comment, and definitely subscribe to my channel. And I hope you guys have a great, great weekend. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.